because in Ayurvedic medicine, you have 8 branches of that, and one of them is purification, which Agnihotra falls underneath. So, as I said before, everybody, I was saying that you have to deal with the foundation of the planet before you can do any other type of healing. So anybody that does anybody here do Reiki healing or anything like that, or any type of healing thing? So when I have the Reiki people that come visit, I tell them that if they do Agnihotra and some of these other fires, that it boosts the effects of them when they're doing their Reiki. So see, people are thinking, and this is just me, you don't really need to go to a Reiki class, so to speak. If you just sit still and meditate, you'll be able to feel like whatever energy, and then you concentrate it. Just like the sister, she's back in the class, she said, when she was walking up, she says, oh my God, I can feel your energy way back over here. So what I'm saying is that when you do Agnihotra, as if you're planting, all you have to do is touch the tip of the plant and let the water go off of your right hand, and the energy will be infused in the plants. So we're talking about real plant power that has nothing to do with plant food. Plant food is good, but you're the original plant food. So these are the things that modern society has forgotten to teach, that I'm enjoying teaching this to homesteaders, so you understand really your place in the world, on this planet, and in your neighborhood, and truly healing on the deepest level. So that's what we're talking about. Because I don't like it when, I had a nurse, there was a lot of medical people coming to me, doctors and stuff, but one nurse, she came to me, she says, oh, and I'm barefoot usually when I'm out in the yard. Oh, you're barefoot, that's dangerous, you shouldn't be barefoot. I'm like, excuse me, this is what great grandma did. Like, if I was not out here with you, I would take all this off and be barefoot. So if you're sick, I tell people, do the fire. Oh, hi, B. Hi, B, how you doing, sweetie? First thing you do the fire, go barefoot, and you walk around. You touch the plants, because the plants will aid in your healing. And this is where ancient healing comes from. When you talk about medicine men, medicine women, Yoruba priests, all these people, all they're doing is doing the original things that people did before we got into modern medicine. Nothing's wrong with modern medicine. However, we've had a lot of medical doctors and nurses to come to us and say, you know what, we're not really healing. What you're talking about, it seems like it's more holistic. So that's why I say everybody is an environmentalist. So what you do, and we're going to do this with Tenisio's thing, so this is like just for show. What you would do in the morning time or the evening time, you would just break a few pieces of cow dung. Like I said, cow dung does not smell, okay, once it's dried. It just smells once it comes fresh out the cow's behind. But it does not smell once it's dried. And so what you do is here, a little bit of, you can make them yourself. You have to pay an expensive amount that they charge in the grocery store. Okay, you just get unsalted butter, boil it for about 20 minutes, and you remove the you skim the fat from the top, and then that's what you have is your cow food. I'm just demonstrating your pyramid.
Go ahead.
So this is what you're doing, and then I'm going to get a little bit into Homa farming, but that's a whole nother class. So you might want to have me come in for that. That's a whole other thing, and it needs to be. I need to do it outside. I had it on my PowerPoint, y'all. So as you see, I am the PowerPoint. Oh, God made me the PowerPoint. So you do that, and you light the fire. So I'm going to chant the evening mantra. So the evening mantra, so you light the fire, and you get brown rice. It needs to be unpolished brown rice, okay? So these are simple ingredients. So mind you, like he said, the machine cow dung does not burn well. We have our own cows that my son, he's the cow dung expert in terms of doing, we call him the dung master. So for evening, we would say, now I'll just demonstrate. So you're gonna light this, put it here. It's windy right now, that's why I'm not lighting a match. And you get his here, and so you would say, for evening, you go, Agniye Swaha, Agnaye Namama, Raja Patiye Swaha, Raja Patiye Namama. And then you sit in silence until the fire goes out. So you let this stay in the same spot, and you want to always face east, because that's where the energies and electricities come from there. You see people meditating, and you face east. And then even African farmers, when they do Agnihotra, they face east too. Because somebody interviewed me for a Farmers International podcast, and this farmer was like, wait a minute, my neighbor, I don't forget which country he's from, he said he does Agnihotra. So Agnihotra is performed all over the world. Don't think of this just as an Indian thing or whatever African thing. People have been doing this for a long time. I'm just showing you different ways in which you can use this. So if you are a chef, there are other fires you can do when you're fixing the food. It becomes Ayurvedic food. So whatever you're doing with the ash, it boosts the effects. It also helps with intelligence. So we tell women that are pregnant, do these different fires and Agnihotra while you're pregnant. Do a fire in the baby's room, and the children grow up even more intelligent, okay? And it helps them to be able to have connectivity with the entire family. So when people come and say, oh, the child's having a behavior problem, I said, no, don't say that. Change the wording. The family's having a challenge. You do the fire, and it helps with that. And then you show your children how to do this in the garden. So that way there's healing with the food. So what we're doing, like I said, in East Cleveland, as a matter of fact, they had didn't they have a storm up there, and nothing happened, the area where the garden is? So the storm hit, everybody said, wait a minute, everything outside there was hit with the storm. They said, what'd you do over here? They said, oh, we do Agnihotra right here. So any of you all are welcome to come up to the Conyers location so you can feel what he experienced about the atmosphere. Because I have neighbors with their grandchildren, they're sitting down, they're not coughing. It doesn't smell like chlorine. And everybody's like, kind of like walking around. I even heard a neighbor say, I wonder what's happening. Why aren't we not having? And I just go, oh, I wonder what that is too. You know, they don't know. You know, they just know me as the lady that's gardening, and people come by to, you know, we teach foraging and things like that. And we have a yoga deck and meditation circle and things like that. So, but for those that are setting up a homestead, whether you're doing permaculture design or anything like that, we suggest before you start clearing trees and doing any of that stuff, go back to some of this natural stuff. Observe everything. Go touch the tree. Go pay attention. Ask permission. Where should this be set up? Look to see where the water is flowing. And then in Homa farming, you set up the pyramid in the center of the garden, and that is where you do the farming. So we'll talk about doing another class on Homa farming, because that's a whole other thing. But you're doing Agnihotra regularly in the center of the garden, and then you'll be able to see directly what's happening with the insects. The insect population will get back intact. You'll be able to see what's happening over there, and then you'll find that a lot of native species will come back on their own. So let me tell you this, when they tell you that something is extinct, it's not necessarily extinct, it's that the air is not medicinal to support it. So things that they say are extinct, if you do Agnihotra long enough, you'll see things sprout up. Somebody said, well, what is this here? And then we have a brother in Savannah, Roland. He's able to grow, was Roland growing papaya or guava?
I think papaya.
Papaya. Now, you're not supposed to be able to grow this in, are we still zone 7B? We changed.
I think 8B, 8A.
We're 8 now. Okay, we changed. So you're not
8B.
supposed to be able to grow papaya, but you're able to grow things you normally can't grow. So when they're telling you something's extinct, if you do Agnihotra, it'll it makes the atmosphere medicinal, everybody. So we're talking about being able to deal with the pollution issue. So let me just say this again, for this chemical fire that has gone to other areas in Atlanta. If you're having breathing problems, please start doing the fire to deal with the air. Like I said before, the air is going to go into the ground. That's how air goes. This is how you deal with the problems, the coughing, the wheezing, the headaches, and all these things, okay? So we say do that, and then you deal with your soil. Because I saw somebody that was planting bell peppers. They had some of the crusty black stuff that had come from the building. I don't think everybody in other parts of Atlanta had this, but since we're in Conyers, people were like, oh my God, it's like crusty black stuff falling on our cars and our grass. And everybody is all just not calm. I think somebody said, like in Lithonia, they said so many people have gone into the ER and they've been diagnosed with chemical poisoning. Kids, old people, if you're immunocompromised, all these things. And I'm like, I don't want to see people suffering, you see? I'm like, hey everybody, telling you what you can do, but this is awful. That sounds too simple. It's the simple things that are the most powerful, everybody. Okay, so to solve this problem, we're not talking about just the air quality. It cleanses water. I told you before about how you can put a little bit of this ash and some tap water in a glass jug, put it out in the sun so the sun can further activate it. It cleanses the water in 3 days, y'all. When I say it's ultra pure water, Ronnie, I drink a version of water that I put underneath a pyramid I have at home, and it's super boosted. Oh, yeah. He drinks this pyramid water. He's like, oh my God, it's so good. So you can deal with this. Let's say your well is contaminated on your homestead or whatever. Put some ash to remediate the water. So what we had some people doing, we had a brother that went to Accra, Ghana, and then he also went to the Ukraine. He went to the waterhead and dumped a bunch of ash at the headwater to cleanse the whole river and the lake. So we're talking about remediating water from on that end. And if you don't get to see some of the studies that I brought with me, if you go to Google Scholar, put in Agnihotra, Agnihotra, you will see where it talks about soil quality. It'll talk about the open petri dish test for the pathogens in the air. Okay, it talks about all of that. You'll see a study healing drug addiction. I went and taught some people, women dealing with the drug challenge, and they became more calm and able to deal with the drug challenge. So we're talking about PTSD, kids with autism, behavior problems, mood disorders. So if you're a therapist or you're going to therapy and you don't want to be on medication, you can use this. I had a nurse that told me, I didn't even know it. She said she was on psychotropic drugs. She was a OBGYN nurse. She started coming 4 years ago, and she told me in the middle of a Facebook Live, oh, I don't take the drugs anymore. This helped me. I'm like, what? You didn't? She said, well, I didn't want to say anything, but I'm saying it now in front of everybody. She said, I don't have to take these drugs anymore. So we do have vets that have PTSD that are using this. So this is what we're saying when this Agnihotra is a way to solve a myriad of problems. So if anybody here is in a community leader or an activist, please invite me to come to your neighborhood, even if it's just grandma's house or whoever's, I don't care, at the top of the street. This is how we clean up the neighborhood. So they have found that anyway, when you're gardening, the neighborhoods tend to be more peaceful. But if you're gardening and you're doing agriculture, this is how you can deal with the parents that are abusing the kids or the children that are behavioral problems. It makes it more peaceful, okay? Without you having to do a lot of outside things and put them on medication and things like that. Where it should not be a desert, and I don't know if you all saw what's happening in the Sahara Desert. Yeah. You hear what I'm saying? So this is a global thing. I talk to people all over the planet. They're on my page and they are talking to me, and like I said, in the Yoruba priest in East Cleveland, he was like, what the heck is going on? You know, what's, you know, going on? We got to do something. And that's why he called me up. And so the people that will suffer the most, everybody, will be the ones that do not understand true sustainability and true land stewardship. So this is so good that he is doing this and teaching people the original ways, the original technology, and not this fake technology they say that can save us. No. We work together, okay, with God, ready to save ourselves. So we're all about self-sufficiency and showing people how to do the things in their communities. So I support any person, any neighborhood, any individual household, because I understand and I've seen it when I meditated. It is going to get much worse, everybody. That's why I'm telling you all this. And Tenisio, thank you so much for saying, hey, you know, when you worded that in the email about, oh, we're going to talk about the cruise now. I said, oh, okay, I can really talk then. There's going to be more events. There's going to be more hurricanes, okay, because of what's happening. Because collectively, this stuff has to come out the core of the earth. There are volcanoes underground that they won't tell you about that are exploding. They're exploding, okay? So we need to get back to the ancient technology, okay? So, are there any other questions before I keep going?
Yes, thank you for the presentation. One question I have is about size of the copper
Yes.
thing. Is that?
Yeah, these are the dimensions, and I can email the dimensions to everyone here. I'll give the information. So, and for those for instance, that are in other countries, when my husband was going to Africa to teach, they couldn't afford copper. He showed them how to do it in clay. See, it's a natural material. So we use the copper because this is ancient alchemy. So we're talking about something that everybody knows about copper, the properties of the copper. It's very healing. You know, everybody's wearing the copper rings and all these things like that.